I guess I'll state the obvious first and start there that obviously very disappointed with how this season turned out. I think anytime you go from having the most wins in the AFC and advancing in the playoffs, the very next year having 5 wins, there's not just one factor involved, there's just a lot of factors involved. And when there's a lot of factors involved, it's usually on the GM's plate. So, I just feel like, moving forward, I need to do a better job getting this team in a position to win consistently and sustain that. We can't have these spikes. So that's what we're working on right now. But I can tell you for myself and Anthony, we're disappointed, a bit angry, which is kind of normal for this time of year after a season like that. But I can tell you, we're not discouraged at all. I like the culture here. I like the foundation that's been built. I love our head coach. So those are 3 things. If you're going to build a championship level team, you have to. Those 3 things are critical. I feel like that has been built. Now it's more of we got to make sure, we bring in the players with the skill set that fit the schemes we're going to run, and then also make sure we adjust our schemes to the skill set of some of the players we have. So that's saying a lot, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Obviously, when you go 5-11 and you go 0-6 in the division, you got some work to do. So, but I can tell you, we're excited to get moving on this because we feel like there's a foundation there. But obviously, there's a lot of work to be done. So, with that, I'll open up to anybody who wants to ask a question.
How do you find that consistency? You talk about building a consistent winner. How do you do that now moving forward?
I think a lot of it's just communication. We've already had. This is not a great week to be having really difficult talks because we're just so emotional when the season ends. I think as a coaching staff, they just went through like 24, 25 weeks of a grind, okay, every single day, 7 days a week. But, we had some discussions this week, and it's, we got some things we got to get better at moving forward. A lot of it's just communication inside the building. Not that I don't think that our communication is bad at all. That's not what I'm saying. But as we evolve and change, make sure everybody's on the same page and fix what didn't go right this year. The whole league changes year to year. Every team changes year to year. We got to make sure that we get on a more consistent path than we've been on.
Look, Tom, as far as the changes, 2-part question. What's your evaluation of how Phillip played last year? And then the second part is, do you want him to come back? Is he going to be part of this team moving forward?
Yeah, I think I can answer all that. I think Phillip will say the same thing. There's some plays he probably definitely wants back. But, there's also some throws he makes still that a lot of quarterbacks in this league can't make. Doesn't matter how old you are. So I think he can still compete at a top starter level. But, that all being said, when you go 5-11, 0-6 in the division, I'm doing a disservice to the organization if we don't, hey, let's look at everything. Let's see how all the pieces fit into this. So that's what we have to do with every position. But like I said, I think he can still compete at a top starter level.
You still need to do an evaluation process before making that determination.
We got to look at it. Like I said, you go 5-11, and the biggest problem, you go 0-6 in your own division. We got to make sure we look at everything. We're at 4 days out right now. But, we got to make a real good look to see how everything fits together financially and performance-wise with everybody.
Sorry, Tom.
It's all right.
As far as that fit, do you feel like Phillip and what he does matches the way that your head coach wants to play offense?
Yes, I think we've done it before, right? So.
What's the timeline with Phillip? How long down the line do you want to make a decision about whether you want him back or don't want him back? Like, how long is the evaluation process going to be? And what's your hopeful time?
I don't have a time frame right now. I think in a perfect world, number 17 is your quarterback forever. Hopefully I'm not offending Dan Fouts when I say that, but he's meant everything to this organization. You work with different players differently. He's been here for a long time. When I talk with him, he's a joy to work with. Nobody has better perspective on what goes on, not only just with him, but with the football team than he does. I can see why he's going to be a great coach when he's done playing. But we need to get removed from the season a little bit. Even right now, it's just way too early. I've been out at a couple games. We just finished the season. We need to take a step back for a little bit of time. But we've got time, and we've got first day of the league year is March 18th. Our players come in April 20th. Camp starts in July. We'll know before July, obviously. But you need some time to kind of let things decompress a little bit. So I don't have a hard time for you.
As you said,
Actually, yes. So that can kind of help us get to where we're trying to figure out where the problems are. But in the losses and even in a couple of the wins, there were some common threads. Turnovers, obviously, and not just the offense turning it over, the defense not causing enough turnover. So that differential is just huge. The offense gets a lot of the flack, but, defensively, our interceptions were down. Our fumbles were down. Now, fumble recoveries, the ball's oblong, it's not circle, okay? But the more times you put that ball on the ground, the better chance you are of recovering fumbles. So we didn't get enough turnovers overall. Red zone offense has been an issue this year. We moved the ball. Yardage wasn't a problem. Red zone was. And then third down defense. And if you look at our losses and even a couple of the wins, there's a common denominator with those three things. So we got a lot of work to do.
You mentioned Anthony, saying you love Anthony. Is it, he's going to the last season of his contract. Are you comfortable with that situation, or would you rather extend him and so it's known that he's going to be here?
Yeah, I mean, the contract will work itself out. I just know he's tough, he's smart, he's a leader, and he represents this organization on and off the field like no one else. I love working with him. Like, there's nobody else I want to go into battle with than him. So the rest of the stuff will work itself out. But I think we have a championship-level coach. I need to do my part, make sure, I don't let him down. So, but I love what he's doing.
Tom, when it comes to turnover differential and you look at Phillip, how do you guys evaluate, obviously, offensive line being in that factor as well?
Well, it's all part of it. It sounds like an excuse, but I mean, it's a fact. We lost two guys that were pretty good players for us. They were Pro Bowl caliber players for us here, left tackle and a center. So, but don't forget too, I mean, we threw the ball probably 600 times this year, a lot of straight dropbacks. We're an aggressive offense. We throw the ball down the field. And despite all that, our sack percentage was seventh least given up in this league. So it wasn't all bad, but I agree with you. When you look, there's some things we need to fix up front. There's no doubt about that, but it wasn't all bad. But when it comes to turnovers, yeah, it's offensive line, quarterback play, running back play, receivers. That's all kind of part of that. So there's, like I said, if there were easy things to fix, if it was just one thing, we'd probably make that fix in season and away we go. But it takes a little more than that.
Going back to Phillip, is this something that you want to get sorted out before the new league year so he doesn't become a free agent? Is that?
I mean, yeah, more than likely. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Tom, would it be feasible to, assuming that you would want to bring Phillip back, if there's a quarterback there at number 6, to draft him and have him as the backup and learning under Phillip, much the way Phillip learned under Drew Brees?
Sure. I mean, it is something that we've been looking at for years. So yeah, I got no problems with that. Sure, certainly feasible.
Bill would say you wanted Phillip Rivers to be here, and he's a Charger for life.
Yeah.
But just feel like for the first time, maybe he might be wearing a different uniform. And how would you feel about that? And does it feel like it's a possibility?
I mean, it's all hypotheticals, but I can only really picture him with a lightning bolt on his helmet. But yeah, I haven't gotten that far down the road yet.
After the game on Sunday, Phil was talking about it. He just feels like the roster has a lot of question marks, and it's not just about him coming back and playing well. I mean, how much of this is you convincing him that you guys have the talent here to be a Super Bowl?
Yeah, that you'd have to ask him. Like I said, I don't think anybody. Yeah, I'm not into this recruiting business, but I think, like I said, I don't think anybody has better perspective on the game of football, himself, and then our football team. And like I said earlier, there are many factors why we were 5-11. It isn't just one thing. So I think he's right on with that. But like I said, we got things to fix. I kind of like where we are with the base of the pyramid, but we got some work to do.
Has Phil said that he wants to be back, Tom?
Pardon me?
Has Phil told you that he wants to come back?
We've had discussions, and I think I know where he stands. I think he likes it here, likes playing football. So, but like I said, you have to ask him that.
There seems to be a perception, you can correct this if it's wrong, that Anthony might want a more mobile quarterback, where other people in the organization are so, I mean, there's so much behind Phil that there could be a disconnect there. Is there any truth to that at all?
Have you asked Anthony that? What was the answer he gave you? I'm sure you must have asked him that.
I don't know, he's answered very diplomatically anytime we.
No, I mean, he's answered it honestly. I mean, we won 12 games last year. Went to the playoffs, won a playoff game. So obviously it's worked. 9-7 the year before that. It worked okay then. So obviously it can work.
as far as coaching staff changes, you had an interim at offensive coordinator. Is there any timetable on going through the staff?
Yeah, so, I mean, that's sooner or later. The player stuff kind of has to wait a little bit. The staff is sooner than later. So it's things we're talking about right now. Like I said, when you go 5-11, you do have to have these tough discussions, without forgetting that this is the same staff that went 12-4 the year before. So, but those are the discussions we have. I thought Shane, it's hard coming in the middle of the season and taking those duties over. I thought all in all, he did an excellent job. I think he's got a really bright future in this league. You know, he made some tweaks and some changes, but it's hard. If you're not the coordinator in training camp or even the offseason program where you're installing what you want to do, you can't make major changes during the season. And I thought he did a really good job. I thought he handled it well. I mean, you know, think about you coming in on Monday, and then by noon, all of a sudden you're the coordinator. I mean, that's a pretty tight turnaround. And he didn't blink. He just jumped right into it. And like I said, he's got a bright career in this league, and I think he did a pretty good job this year.
With picking sixth in the draft, has Senior Bowl folks reached out to you yet about possibly being one of the staffs?
No.
Where do you stand with Melvin Gordon and wanting to bring him back? He said he wants to return.
Yeah.
Obviously, things didn't go the way you wanted in terms of negotiation.
I mean, he falls in the same boat as almost everybody right now. We gotta evaluate and assess everything. So that's, you know, 7. You go 5-11, 0-6 in division, you got to look at everything. So, but I can tell you this. Obviously, Melvin held out, so that, you know, doesn't make me very happy. And I think it affected our team early, but you do have to get over that. But despite all that, I love the kid. I mean, on a personal level, on a professional level, I mean, I love the kid. He does. Even watching him play against Kansas City this past weekend, I don't think his statistics were great, but I thought he had a great game. I mean, toughness, heart. I mean, that's how I feel about him. However, we got to really look at everything. Like I said, we got to see how everything fits together. But he's an excellent football player.
How do you feel like he handled coming back and kind of integrating himself into the locker room?
I thought he handled it very, very well. I mean, that was a very difficult situation, very unique situation. I thought he handled it as well as he possibly could have. And hopefully we handled it as well as we could have. Unfortunately, the product on the field, the result didn't look like the way it was supposed to. But look, I understand there's two sides of it. I understand why he did it. I didn't agree with it, but I don't hold a grudge on him. You know, partly I really feel for the kid. I like him a lot. So, but it is what it is.
Is there a different type of approach you would do, knowing what you guys went through last year with him coming into this year?
So, yeah, when things like that happen, I go back and look, how do we handle it, where we could have done better. And I'll probably still give it some thought. You know, unfortunately, at this stage, I'm still in the same position that it probably would have handled it the same way. Even though the result, you know, early on, and more than likely hurt our football team. You know, Anthony did not have all of his weapons to start the season. But, you know, this is a tough business, and these things happen. But it's not like I'm going to sit there, put my head in the sand and say it was perfect, we handled it the right way. Who cares what the result was? I don't look at it like that. But as I look back, it was a unique situation, and that the way that we handled it, we tried to do it the best way we could at the time, and that's how it worked out.
With that situation happening, would you look to maybe not have that happen with Joey Bosa and try and get a contract worked out with him this offseason?
Well, every situation is different. There's no two same. Just like Joey's contract this time will be different than his rookie contract. So, yeah, that'll be down the road at some point. Not really focused on that right now.
From a broader perspective, when you go through seasons like this, and you go through the evaluation process, how hard are you on yourself and the things that you did or could have done or what have you?
I mean, when you think about these jobs, and I'm not trying to separate our job from other people's jobs in real lives, but, you know, this is 7 days of work every single day working with these people in this building, and it's an emotional game, and obviously everything you do, everybody sees, and if you don't do it well, everybody tells you. So when you grow up in an atmosphere that you want to win, and you want to win for everybody in the building, and it doesn't go that way, yeah, it hurts. It hurts a lot. That's why this week I try and avoid making any decisions, but having big talks, because the coaches are exhausted. You know, I'm upset, coach is upset. We put everything into this. So when it doesn't go the way you want it to go, yeah, it hurts. But like I said earlier, I'm disappointed. I'm a little bit angry. I'm getting a little better as we get to Thursday, but I'm not discouraged because I know we have the right head coach. I know we have a good core of players here, and I know we have some really good people in our building to keep growing that. So that's the answer to that.
How much work do you feel like needs to be done to the offensive line this offseason?
How much work? That's a tough question. But there's work that needs to be done, obviously. So again, that's part of the evaluation process as we move into the offseason. But yeah, it's not a finished product by any means.
How much more difficult is the job of sort of, revamping the offensive line when you do have question marks? You don't know if Mike's definitely going to be back next year.
Right.
Russell obviously has dealt with a lot of stuff this year, and
Right.
he might not be a guy you can rely on. How much more difficult does it make it with the uncertainty surrounding some of the players?
Well, I don't know if we have to revamp, but there's got to be adjustments. And yeah, I mean, that plays into it. Mike Pouncey had a season-ending injury. There's some question marks there. Russell's thing is a little bit different. But yeah, certainly see how he comes back. Those are two key guys for us, but they're also up there in age as well. And Michael Schofield's a free agent. So, yeah, we got some work to do. I mean, there's some, I'm not gonna hide from that.
Mike did say he wants to come back if he's cleared by doctors. Do you have any clarity on that?
I haven't asked him. I haven't even talked to the doctor specifically about where he is. I know he has some things coming up at the end of the month to kind of see where that is. We got to make sure we talk to the doctor, see where everything is. But man, he is an incredible leader first of all, he's a good player, but he's an incredible leader on the offensive line at a key position. I mean, center and left tackle, if you had to rank the spots of those front five, nothing against the other three, but they're critical. And I thought Scott Quisenberry came in and played pretty well. Okay, he had his rough spots from time to time, but there's just no substitute for what Mike Pouncey brought to that group. Mike's not going to play forever. We know that, but yeah, we'll have to kind of see as we move through the offseason where he is, where medically he is, and kind of take it from there. But those are the guys you want to go to battle with every week.
In the years, Tom, that you've been doing this and the various layers that you've mentioned about evaluating everybody and finances and all that, well, this year you're also moving into a new stadium. Does that play 1%, a little bit, 0%?
Into decision making? No, it wouldn't come into decision making. I think if there's ever a year we got to turn the page, it's this year. So this season's done. It's a new decade. It's a new stadium. I think our players will be excited about it. But as far as the decisions you make, we're under pressure to win. It doesn't matter where we're playing and who we're in front of. That's the pressure to win. So, but I do think our players will get something out of it. There's no doubt.
How comfortable would you be with Tyrod as your starter going into?
How would you say? How cool would I be?
How comfortable?
Oh. I was really excited when we signed Tyrod. He's a starting quality quarterback in this league that we had as a backup, and that meant a lot. We hadn't had that here since I've been here. So yeah, I think he can play. He can start in this league. He's a great leader too.
Mike Williams had a pretty breakout year and playing on an injured knee. Is the plan to pick up his fifth-year option? Is that pretty good for you guys?
Haven't got that far, but yeah, no, he did a great job. Yeah, his knee gave him some issues for almost the whole second half of the season. I don't think it's anything serious, but it's something that bothered him. But he still put up big numbers for us, yards, average per catch and catches. And I still think he's got a high ceiling moving forward. So, yeah, he's a big-time playmaker for us.
Coming off a 12-4 season, do you feel like you did enough to put a winning football team on the field in the offseason?
Obviously not. We go 5-11. So, nope, didn't do a good enough job last year.
You said a couple times here that you feel like Anthony Lynn is the right man for the job, a championship caliber coach. Why do you feel that way?
I think I told you, he's tough, he's smart, he's an excellent leader. He works very well with his staff, and he holds them accountable. He's great with the players. He works great with myself and our whole staff, and he's a great representative of this organization. So, I'm like I said, we're very, very lucky to have him. We just got to get a better product on the field and make sure he has everything he needs when he needs it. And I love working with him.
You mentioned based on the results, 5-11, there's going to have to be some changes in the offseason.
Right.
In terms of the cap space, do you feel comfortable with the fact that you have enough cap space to do those things, and was that an impediment last year?
Well, I know into next year. Now we have a healthy cap. I mean, our dead money is in one of the last in the league, and we have plenty of space moving into next year. So, but I never saw it as an issue last year that we couldn't do things. But no, definitely have more space, probably the most space we've had since I've been here in the last 6 or 7 years moving forward. So, well, yeah, we've got some flexibility there.
Hunter Henry's also a free agent. Do you want to bring him back next season?
Like I said, everybody falls in the same category. We got to make sure what fits, what pieces fit. And I've talked to Hunter. He had a great season for us. He's going to be and again, he has a higher ceiling too. Excellent player for us. Got to figure out all the finances and the cap and the performance and everything, how everything fits. But yeah, like I said, it's a draft pick of ours. And as you know, like our philosophy is to re-sign our own when we can. It may not be everybody. We would like to re-sign our own first and then go outside after that.
Between Phil's situation, Melvin's situation, Hunter's situation, and situations like Pouncey and Michael Schofield, this offseason could turn out where no matter how hard you try, some leadership from that locker room goes out the door. How do you approach an offseason knowing that some leadership might move?
You know what? Every year there's major questions, major concerns. How are you going to fix this? How are you going to fix that? And every year, you know, players leave the locker room. And as players get older and as leaders leave the locker room, that's when the next crew of players, the second, third, fourth, fifth-year players, move into those leadership roles. It happens every year. You know, we have some players on our football team that aren't team leaders yet, but they have it in them. And as the voids open up, they move into those spots. So if you have the right culture and you have the right foundation and you have the right head coach, and we have the three of those, that takes care of itself. You know, and we'll make sure we try and we're bringing in the right players that have those leadership characteristics, but it kind of takes care of itself.
Who are those players on the team right now?
I'll keep that to myself for right now. Well, one easy one is and really he was a leader last year as a rookie, which is a little bit rare, is Derwin. Derwin he's just a natural leader. Guys gravitate towards him. But we have some other guys that you don't have to be a rah-rah type guy to be a leader. I told that to Austin Eckler the other day. Austin Eckler has great leadership ability. And there's other guys that fit in that category too. And that's kind of in that age group as they start to grow. The longer they're here, they kind of take on leadership capabilities.
Speaking of Austin, how high of a tender will you have to give him to make sure that no other team gets after him?
Yeah, it's January 4th. You know, I don't know how high a tender yet, but he had a great year for us.
Nas pretty much had a redshirt year with
Yeah.
a hamstring injury. What do you hope to see from him this offseason, and what do you think his role could evolve into in his second year?
Yeah, well, he needs to get healthy, number one. So that's what this offseason is about. I mean, and he's already had a number of weeks and months to get a head start on that. So, and he moves into the offseason, you know, he's going to be a defensive back. You know, it could be safety, could be some nickel corner, could be corner. We'll kind of see. The good thing, in his brief amount of time that we saw him in the preseason and a little bit in the regular season, I feel good that he can play in this league, but we need to get him out there. So, you know, he has some instincts, some quick twitch. He'll hit, good feel for the game, but, you know, he's got to get healthy and then get out there and start competing for time.
What was your evaluation of Jerry Tillery his first year?
Yeah, well, him, like most of our guys, just come in and earn a role in the rotation first, which he did that. And then after that, try and expand that role. As we got towards later in the year, saw a lot more. And this will be a big offseason for him and the rest of our rookies to kind of take the roles they have now and expand on those. But, yeah, I think the last, I'd say, 3-4 weeks, I think it came along pretty well.
And then thoughts overall, the rookie class, what do you think about the class? I know it's first year.
I mean,
expectations aren't.
It's hard to generalize a whole draft class, you know? I think, like I said, I like them to all come in, just earn a role in some way, even the way Agbule, just earn a role in special teams, maybe a couple snaps on defense, which he did. And then you go into the offseason and start expanding on that. So obviously Nas did not. Nas got hurt. So, and even Trey Pipkins, you know, the negative is Russell got hurt. The positive is Trey got a chance to play a little bit. And although it was rocky at times, there were some good things that we saw. So that's just good experience for him. But, you know, as a draft class generally, it's just hard to generalize it. But we expect them all next year, you got to start taking the next step.
How did you feel Drew Tranquil played? He started off as a special teams guy, ended up toward the end of the season playing a lot of crucial snaps for you guys.
Right, so he falls in that category. Earned a role in special teams, earned a role playing in nickel, earned a role playing in base, and did a really nice job. You know, he's smart, he's tough, he runs well. You know, fits a lot of things we want to do on defense, and did a really nice job. Gets tough.
You mentioned that Anthony is the right coach. Could it be a distraction if he goes into the new year without an extension?
I've never really seen Coach distracted. Have you? He just doesn't. He doesn't get distracted. Like he handles things extremely well. So.
You talked about at the beginning about kind of being disappointed and angry, and I don't want to rip a scab off, but will you watch the playoffs and kind of what's your time frame to say, okay, last year's behind us, do you get away a little bit, and when you start going into drafts?
Yeah, yeah, it's hard to get away this time of year, but yeah, the playoffs are painful to watch because it's just reminds you every time you watch a game that you're not there. So, I mean, it's hard for me not to watch some of the games, but it's not a pleasant experience. But you know, we're right now, you know, getting ready for next year. For me now, getting more into the draft process and getting to look at a lot more guys. We've got a couple All-Star games this month. The bowl season's wrapping up. Start meeting with our scouts in February. So, look, if you want to get this going, you got to put the work in. So.
With moving into a new stadium, is there pressure from Dean and the family that you'll have to make a splash signing or splash trade during the offseason?
There's pressure to win. There's pressure to win. And, you know, I mentioned this to the players and coaches on Monday, and I know this is on a smaller scale, but I thought there was at least some perspective to it. So in 1998, it was my first year with the Colts, and the Colts had moved from Baltimore in '84. So they had been there for 14 years when I got there. When I got there, it was at that point still Indiana Pacers, college basketball, Indy race car driving. So it was Pacers and racers, and then, you know, the Colts were distant. And in 1999, we go 13-3, had a great year. We had a home playoff game against the Tennessee Titans. They had Eddie George and Steve McNair, Javon Curse. But we have a home playoff game, and we had to go silent count the whole game, okay, at home. So this is not a new phenomenon that we had to go a silent count here. So we lose that game. Then in 2000, 2001, 2002, as we move forward, started winning a lot of games, won with some flair, did a lot of work in the community, made it to a Super Bowl, built a new stadium, and now, like, that city is a Colts city. Like, it's a football town, and the Colts are loved there, and the support is great. But it took playing really consistent, winning football for a long time and having some fun with it, having some flair. I mean, we had Peyton Manning. But we also had a lot of other players that were fun to watch, and it grew. So bigger scale here with Los Angeles. Like, you can't really compare Indianapolis to Los Angeles, but I think here, I mean, the bar is high here, but that shouldn't scare us. That should really drive us even more. You know, we got to play winning football and be exciting, and the support will come. So we're the solution with that. It's nothing to complain about. So, but as far as splash, there's a difference between exciting to me and splash. Splash doesn't have any substance to it. Exciting can still have some substance to it. So, no, I think we can get there. It's gonna be a lot of hard work, but I think it's gonna be fun as we try and build this. I think it's gonna be fun moving into a new stadium, especially now. I mean, can really just get this year out of our minds, move into a brand new stadium. We'll probably bring the players up there in the off-season program so they can see it. None of them have really seen it. I mean, I haven't been up there in 2 years. Last time I was up there, it was a hole in the ground. So it'd be exciting for them to see what this is going to look like, and you know, gives a little bit of energy this off-season.
So is there pressure to make an exciting signing or trade? Since you said there's a difference between splash.
Joe, you're good. The difference between your exciting and my exciting may be different. I can't define exciting. I don't know what that is. You have to be careful of players with big names that maybe the performance isn't there anymore. That's our job to make sure. Like, we're trying to find the players that can come in and win football games.
How do you feel like Sam Tabby played this year, and do you feel like he's a starter in this league?
I do. He is tough. He is tough beyond your dreams, and he's got great feet. So, but yeah, he does have starting ability in this league. Yep.
How well have you and John been able to work with each other in the past couple of years?
Very well. Yeah, very well. Yeah, I get great support from ownership. I can't ask for anything more.
Pressure to win any greater than when you started here in
2013? I mean, for me, it's a year-to-year job. You know, I mean, there's pressure every single year. There's pressure in 13 and 14 and 15. I don't, to me, that's no different. You know, it's pressure to win every single year. Pardon me?
You've never been in rebuilding mode, like, you know, we don't have the quarterback to compete mode.
Yeah, I'm not real big on rebuilding. If you want to get technical, maybe retool. But in the end, I mean, you can build it on the run. It may not be exactly the way you like it, but you can build it on the run. That's what we did in 2013. We kind of built it on the run.
Going back to Melvin for a second, with the long-term high-price contracts doled out to running back and the performance really not matching them, do you think the market is coming back a little bit, that you might find common ground with them for an extension?
You're being very general with the first part of that statement, but I don't know. We'll see. Every back, every team situation is a little bit different. It's hard to be very general and say, hey, this is what these four guys did, and it did work or didn't work, and it will work here. I don't know if that really fits, but you know, we'll see. It's really extremely early right now in January.
Tom, in your interactions with agents and players, do you have any sense that being in Los Angeles and also moving into this highly acclaimed stadium will give you a little bit of an edge in terms of either extending guys or signing free agents?
You know what? I don't have a great feel for that. Honestly, I just don't. I haven't had an agent mention that to me. I haven't had a player mention that to me. But, you know, we're selling our culture, our head coach, our building, more so than selling Los Angeles. You know, I want to make sure we want players that want to play and win, not just hang out in Hollywood. So, but.
When you say building, you're talking about the culture, not
Yeah.
the stadium.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, like right here. But no, actually, I really haven't had anybody even mention that to me yet. But you know what? The new stadium has been so far out there, it really hasn't been a topic of conversation for anybody yet. So I guess we'll see this offseason if that.
I'll ask you next year.
Yeah, sounds good. I don't see you very often, so I guess I'll see you here next year at the same time. It's the first time you asked me a question since last year at this press conference.
Football question. Desmond King was so good in 18.
Right.
What did you think of him this year? What did you make of his season?
I would put him in a category with a lot of our players that he did not play as consistently at a high level as we would like to have. I mean, and I can put a lot of players in that group. It's the reason why we went 5-11. Doesn't mean he didn't work hard. I mean, he worked hard. I don't think he missed a day of practice. He got hurt in that last game, but puts in the time. But you know, like a lot of players, we just weren't consistently playing at a high enough level. But the talent's there on defense as a returner. We've seen it before, so you know, we'll see. This will be a big year for him.
Tom, you mentioned you have a great communication relationship with Anthony. Is there anything in particular that he's come to you for, saying, we got to do this, or I need this guy, or that sort of thing?
Oh yeah, that. I mean, we talk daily, often. You know, during the week, I try and pick my spots when I go down to his office because he's got so much going on. But you know, we're talking all the time, talking about all different things, philosophy, specifically about players. I mean, it's a relationship that's a daily occurrence. So yeah, those discussions happen all the time. And he's what I like about him as a head coach, he's not narrow focused. He has a big picture involved. So when we make roster decisions, I don't have to explain, if we make this decision, this is how it could affect something else a little bit farther down the road. Like he knows already. So our discussions are easy, very easy. I thought you retired.
Well, no, I got a couple more weeks.
All right.
A couple more questions.
I'm glad you're here.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Has he come to you with a list, you know, for the new year, his New Year wish list, or his, resolutions
it's January 4th. He's giving me a couple days. But no, we talk so often. It's not like we have to sit up in a meeting and say, all right, let's go down your list of what you're looking for. I mean, we're talking constantly. If we never had a conversation between now and March, I probably pretty much know what he's looking for. Now we will. Yeah, no, I know exactly what he wants each position, different players. Yeah, those, like, we talk all the time, and the communication is very good.
Do you guys ever have strong differences of opinion about players, whether it's guys in this building or guys from outside that you're?
Yeah, yes, and I think it's healthy. I really think it's healthy, and that's, when you're talking about, like, players, it's opinions, really, and no one's ever right. He listens. I like to think that I listen. I know I don't have all the answers, and I know he always says he never has all the answers, but usually you put enough good football people in a room together, you discuss something, you'll come out with the right answer. Doesn't mean that result's always going to work, but you'll make the decision for the right reasons.
Almost exactly a year ago, you guys eliminate Lamar Jackson from the playoffs. A year later, he's got a first-round bye. Is there anything to be gained from that, from the standpoint of what a difference a year makes for your team moving forward?
Probably not. You know, like that year's removed by now. Teams adapt and change, and I don't know. That's hard to answer. But obviously, they took off after our playoff game. We came back, so we got to figure out how to do what they did last year.
Tom, do you keep mentioning January 4th? It's only January 4th. This is very raw still. Do you give yourself sort of a time frame, a pause, to not respond emotionally when you do make these decisions?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to. I don't even know why we do this week. Talk to Josh. It's hard to put a direct, at least a couple weeks. Usually by the time you get to the Senior Bowl, which is late January, you're a little bit clearer thinking. At least by then, some teams have been eliminated from the playoffs, so you feel a little bit better. But it just takes a couple weeks. I mean, just like if you lose a game on Sunday, you're in a bad mood Monday, and Tuesday you're still feeling it. By the time you get to Wednesday and those players hit the field, you've forgotten about it, and you feel great for the next week. But for a couple days, it's hard. So we figure about after 22, 23, 24 weeks of the season, for it just to end like that, it takes a little bit of time.
Anthony's mentioned that he uses analytics during games to make decisions. Do you use analytics in any way in the scouting process?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's not a decision we make without looking at the data and the metrics. I mean, it just helps you make decisions. So, yeah, it's a pretty big part of it.
What kind of data are you looking at?
A lot. I mean, what do you mean, what kind of data?
Like athleticism, composite scores, stuff like that. Like, what are you using?
Yeah, I mean, the athletic composite scores, I look at a little bit for draft. It's okay. We use all the raw data from Pro Football Focus. I think it's really, really good, all that raw data. There's some data that I really believe strongly in. There's some of it that I don't think correlates well, but they give us a lot of data. There's also another piece of software we have that has more of the NGS tracking data, which is relatively new within the last couple of years. That's something that we're getting more into, and it's really new. And as far as just like the numbers of, the combine numbers and workout numbers, that we've been using that for 20-something years. But yeah, I just think with all the decisions you have to make, you can't make them all just with your eyes and with your gut. I mean, you got to use the tape, you got to listen to people, but you got to have some data and some metrics just to have a cross-check, to ask critical questions. Does it line up? Does it not line up? Why? And it helps me make decisions. I mean, it just does. So